Due to the length of this video, I broke it up into two parts. This is part 1, and I hope you'll watch part 2 as well. Hi everybody, it's Linda. Welcome back to Tips for You. Well, I've gotten quite a few questions recently from my younger viewers. They're mostly in their 20s, and they're asking for some advice as someone who's older than they are and who's gone through more of the stages of a woman's life like I have. They're asking me to share some of my insights and what's worked for me. And I will be sharing more of these questions in later videos, so please stay tuned, and if you have any questions, please definitely comment below, and I will definitely consider them for another video. So I selected one particular question to answer for this video from one viewer who asked if I would share my best self-care habits that I have practiced that have enabled me to stay fit and young looking without turning to Botox or fillers or plastic surgery. And I'm so glad she asked, because being in your 20s, you can make such a difference in how you age. And I'm flattered and honored that she would seek this advice from me. And I truly believe that I have a responsibility on YouTube to inspire the younger generation and to help them if I can by sharing things that have worked and things that they can put to use in their lives. Just because you're older and you have more wisdom and you've lived longer and done more things and you figured out what has worked and what hasn't worked for you. So I'm very happy that she asked, and I'm really happy to share my insights, and I hope that it will resonate with some of you and that you'll be able to learn from what's worked for me. And I encourage my older viewers to please comment below any self-care habits that you've had through the years that have really worked well for you. Share them with my younger viewers below. I think we can all be a wonderful example here on YouTube. And I wish I had YouTube when I was growing up, because I had so many questions. So what I did was I broke this video up into two parts. And first I'm going to discuss what's worked for me to stay fit and how I've maintained my figure. And then I'm going to, in the second part, discuss my skin and how I've been able to maintain youthful skin. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, so regarding my body and staying fit, I just want to say that I am pretty much the same size and shape that I have been since my teenage years. I've worked to maintain it. It's not easy, but with commitment and consistency, you can maintain your figure. You can look the way you look right now at 25, or even better when you're 50 and above. But it's going to take some work, and it's going to take some good habits. And the first good habit that I want to recommend is that you should buy a scale if you don't already have one, because you need to be able to weigh yourself when you start to feel a little different. Like, let's say you put on a pair of jeans and you say, they're a little tight around the waist or around the butt or around the legs. So that should prompt you to go check the scale. And when you get on the scale, if you see that you're more than the usual fluctuation that you get with your monthly cycle, then you might have to take a little action. Because it's so much easier, ladies, to lose 3 to 5 pounds than it is to lose 20. So everyone has their number, and I always had my number. My number was always 120 pounds, and I always like to be around 116, 117, somewhere in there. And if I got up to, say, 120 pounds, and I wasn't, I'm 5'4", so that's a pretty good weight for me, considering that I exercise and I'm athletic. I like to keep a low body fat profile, and I'm going to talk to you in a minute about body image. So that works best for me, and it keeps me healthy and it keeps me active. So life is maintenance. So if you see that the scale is creeping up a little bit, and I'm not saying you should weigh yourself every day, that's crazy. Just periodically, just to keep an eye on yourself. You don't want to kind of let yourself go. And then you can rein it back in. And if I felt like I was just getting a little bit away from where I normally like to be, then I would start to step up the exercise. I would definitely cut back on any desserts I was having. Or I can remember one summer when I was going into college, and literally like 4 times a week at night, me and my friends used to go to Friendly's. This was a big thing we did this summer. Don't ask me why. So despite my best efforts to watch what I ate during the day, I still went and had the giant Jim Dandy, you know, with the bananas and giant scoops of ice cream and whipped cream and the whole 9 yards. And I did this for like an entire month of the summer. But I remembered having to put a pair of jeans on to do something, to go somewhere sometime later, you know, in the summer or towards September, and I literally could not close my jeans. And I went, oh my. Now, you know, in the summer, you're living in lighter clothing and skirts and shorts, and it's kind of sometimes hard to notice if you've put on a few pounds. Well, I put on like 7 pounds. It was like insane. But on a small person like me, like it made a big difference. And I thought, oh my goodness, I cannot let this go on. I stopped eating all those desserts and things, and I stopped eating all the snacks that I was eating, because, you know, when you're with friends, you do tend to eat things that you don't normally eat on your own. And I hunkered down, had salads and, you know, lean meats, and exercised more. And before you know it, by the time, you know, December rolled around, I was right back where I was supposed to be. But I just want to caution you that, you know, you need to nip it in the bud ahead of time. And the only time I can kind of I used to get off schedule was in the summer, because I wasn't really wearing my normal clothing. That's an example I have for you, and I learned from that. And I learned the importance of not trying to keep up with my social eating with what other people were doing, or to keep up with a boyfriend. You know, you're not going to eat like a guy, ladies. So you get a new boyfriend, you go out to dinner a lot at night, or, you know, as dates and stuff, and you start to eat when they eat, and you eat, and before you know it, you're eating more than you normally would, and even more than when you're just hungry. So watch that. It's an easy trap to fall into. You're comfortable in a relationship, and sometimes fun revolves around going out to eat and food and stuff, and it's an easy way for you to lose your hunger signs in substitution for their hunger signs. So be on the lookout for that. And I learned that as well with my first boyfriend, who loved to go for pizza every day, and there I was doing that. So these are just things I learned over the years, and, you know, by the time I met my husband, I wasn't doing that anymore. You know, if he wanted to gorge and eat a lot more, I knew I'm not going to eat that much, because I'm not 6'2", okay? I'm 5'4", and I have to eat what satisfies my hunger level. So a quick word about body image. You want to maintain a healthy body image that's unique for you. That means maintaining a healthy body weight that is healthy for your body to function optimally, and that's different for each person. You can use weights and toning exercises to achieve a firmer and fitter appearance, better posture, and more self-confidence. But remember not to be too restrictive with your diet or exercise too excessively, because too much of a good thing becomes a negative for your health. So you don't want to overdo it. Okay, so moving on. The next thing I want to tell you that was really important for me, and easy for me, but it may not be for you depending on your upbringing, was you guys need to learn to cook. This not only will save you money, but it is the way to ensure that you will have a healthy, nutritious diet. And if you can avoid those over-processed or processed foods and cook for yourself, it will serve you so well. So while you're in your 20s, make an effort to learn some basic, easy things. Cook ahead of time, cook in quantity. That's what I do. I've always done that. Even when it was just me and my husband and no children, I would cook on a Sunday, and I would try to get the shopping done sometime after work during the week, and, you know, stock up on things that I needed. And it was only for 2 of us, so, you know, not as much shopping as I have to do when I had 4 people in my home. And then devote some time to cooking. And if you're going to cook 2 chicken cutlets, cook 4 or 5 or 6. Because you can put that many in the oven just like you can put 2. And then you have them in the refrigerator. And then if you come home from work and you're hungry or whatever, you can make yourself a wrap. Have some cooked vegetables in there, some kale or some onions and peppers. And you can whip yourself up a wrap in 2 seconds. It's healthy, it's fresh. You can always wash yourself some fresh lettuce, cut a nice fresh tomato, put some basil in there. And you know what? You've got something really healthy for you and nutritious. Nutrient-dense food is the key here, especially for me. I don't have a lot of room in my stomach. When I eat, I want to make sure that I get the benefits of all the food groups. So I practice something called portion control. That has served me so well over the years. And one of the ways that I have instituted it is I use a smaller plate. And I will put all the food I want to eat in the sitting on that smaller plate so I can see everything I'm getting. Because if I start grabbing this from the refrigerator, grabbing that, I lose track of what I'm eating, how much I've eaten, whether I've had proper food groups. And before you know it, I'm full. I tend to sometimes snack while I'm cooking if I'm really hungry, but I'll try only to snack on the vegetables because I don't want to spoil my appetite for when my protein or my carbs come along, because I want to be able to get all the nutrients in. And ladies, don't wait too long between meals. It's beneficial to eat when you get hungry because it will stop you from overeating at any given meal. If you come home ravenous, not having eaten since noon, and it's 7 o'clock, well, you're just going to throw anything into your mouth just to stave off the hangriness, which I call being hungry and angry, and get something in your stomach, and that leads to gas pains and all this other stuff. So, have an afternoon snack. Have some snacks before you go to the gym. Try to, develop a habit if you're getting hungry to eat something, reach for something nutritious, nuts, fruits, I love fruit. I know there's a whole big war on sugar going on. I don't believe in all of that. I do believe you shouldn't have a lot of simple sugars and things like that, but honestly, you need the energy, you need the vitamin C, the fiber, and that comes from fresh fruits, and I eat lots of fresh fruits. And I'm going to talk about that in the skin section, how beneficial vitamin C is and fruits to your skin, because it really is, and to your overall health. And for you to get it in vegetables, the vitamin C, it's hard because vegetables have limited vitamin C. So, keep that in mind. Now, here are some more healthy eating habits that you can put into effect now in your 20s, because you can make such a difference on your life, as well as if you have a family someday, the health and welfare of your family as well. Some more healthy eating habits for you. Number 1, eat only when you're hungry. Get to know when your stomach is really hungry and that you're not just bored looking for something to do. And stop eating when you're full. Get to know when you're feeling satisfied. You don't want to eat to the point where your stomach is just hurting. Sometimes you have to stand up when you're sitting down at the table and eating. That'll help everything settle and you can feel whether you're full. Don't eat for emotional reasons. Try to get to the bottom of what's bothering you if you are eating for emotional reasons, rather than masking it with food. And don't deprive yourself, because if you are depriving yourself, you're only going to crave it more. So if you want that dessert, then go ahead and have a little bit of it. Just make sure you're eating a good balanced diet, and then treat yourself to something if you want it. Just don't eat the whole box of cookies or the whole half a gallon of ice cream. Have a cup, have a bowl. It's not going to harm you. Those types of things keep you on your diet because you're not depriving yourself. And number 5, vary your diet. The more different foods you can have and different combinations of foods, the healthier you're going to be. Think in terms of colors. Try to get all those yellow and green vegetables. Try different meats and fish. And, the more variety that you can have in your diet, the more vitamins and minerals that you're going to have and the healthier you're going to be. Number 6, cut down on alcoholic beverages and non-nutritional snacks. This is a big one because these are empty calories. They will put weight on you. They will age you. Alcohol is just something that is going to rob your body of nutrients because it's going to wash out important vitamins, dehydrates the body, it constricts blood flow, it causes you to crave and eat foods that you wouldn't normally eat. So I'm not an alcohol drinker, and I really do think that it is something that has to be a very, very moderate thing in your diet, if at all. Number 8, eat fiber-rich foods. I can't stress that enough. Fiber-rich foods will help you achieve a healthy weight. They'll help keep you full longer. They'll help keep your insulin response in check because these foods help prevent swings in your blood sugar levels. They'll help you maintain your bowel health. And having normal bowel movements helps to reduce toxins in your body and helps you eliminate the toxins on a regular basis. And number 9, avoid trans fats and hydrogenated oils. This is a big one. They come in a lot of the processed foods. Just look at the labels. If you see anything like hydrogenated, vegetable oil or palm oil or cottonseed oil, anything that has, trans fats or hydrogenated oils, they put it in to make it have a long shelf life. It's really not healthy for you. It causes inflammation in the body. It causes weight gain and aging. And number 10, avoid processed meats. I've given up eating anything like that, processed meats and cold cuts and things like that. They're loaded with salt and preservatives like nitrates and nitrites. As a matter of fact, the World Health Organization has declared that they are carcinogenic. Now we're going to get to my favorite piece of advice for you. That if you follow this piece of advice, I honestly think you can maintain your figure through your entire life. It's going to take some diligence and some commitment, but it's the fountain of youth, and that is exercise. It is the most important thing to keep your metabolism high. Now, people think as you get older, your metabolism gets slower, and it might, yes, a little bit, it does, but more or less it's really due to you getting more sedentary. The more sedentary you get, the slower your metabolism is going to get. So I knew this, and I always wanted to keep my metabolism revved. And I also know that on days that I don't exercise, I'm really not as hungry, which tells me that I don't have to eat as much on those days. But I certainly do have to eat on the days that I work out, and I want good food on those days. I'm craving good stuff. I want, meat and fish and chicken and vegetables and pasta and grains. Keep the keep the carbohydrates that you have high fiber. Those are better for you. They digest slower. They keep your insulin response slower. This is like a lifestyle for you. These are habits that once you incorporate them, they become part of who you are, and they'll be reflected in how you look. And by the way, if you're older right now and you're in my age group, or you're in your 30s or your 40s, or you're having children, don't think this is too late for you, that you have to be in your 20s to incorporate good habits. My goodness, no. Start today. Revamp your diet. My husband just lost, I want to say about 35 pounds. It's been a year. He has been eating healthier. He stopped drinking beer, which was a big calorie problem for him. And with that, drinking beer leads to snacks and all that other stuff. And I think he looks fantastic, and he's still losing weight just by making lifestyle changes. He's not starving himself. He's not crash dieting. He's exercising, and he's eating better. So that's all it takes, but it takes time. So don't expect things to happen overnight. It's consistency. All right, so back to the exercise. I know you're busy in your 20s. I was there too. I was working a lot. I was studying for a CPA exam. I was planning a wedding. I had so many things going on, but I always made time to exercise. It's like anything else in your life. Think about stuff that you do every day of the week that you do. I mean, you get to Starbucks, don't you, if you want your coffee? Exercise is the same way. And if you can't exercise for very long, that's okay. Whatever you can fit in. Try to do 20 to 30 minutes every day if you can. And on days that you can extend it, extend it. And I'm going to tell you the single best thing that has kept me in shape all these years. And it's simple. Sorry for the bus. It's school drop-off time. And that is walking. And you may not think walking can make that much of a difference, but it can, especially over time. Real vigorous walking. And if you want, you can up that level of walking by adding some interval jogging, because now you're going to take your metabolism up higher. You're going to burn calories faster, and you're going to burn fat. And your body was designed for running and walking. Okay? It may not have been designed for Zumba, where you're going to go sideways and this way and that way, and before you know it, you might hurt a knee. And classes are really fun. But I'm limited in doing those nowadays because of my time constraints and because of the fact that I really like to do my own thing. Ladies, don't be afraid in life to do your own thing. Be your own pioneer, be your own advocate. Walk to the beat of your drum, because that's what's going to keep you fit and healthy. I've always let my health be my guide all the time. It has never let me down. If I have to make a decision, somehow you can base it on that, and it always will serve you well. That's in social situations. That's also with an eye on the future, because you have to think about the future if you want to look good in a few years, and it comes before you know it. Okay, I was 25, it seems like yesterday, and here I am, and I'm 53. So the years flew by. I can't even tell you how fast. So make exercise a priority. What it all boils down to is blood flow. And anything you can do to increase the oxygenation of your blood, increase the blood flow, is going to help your body stay fit and stay younger. And I'm going to mention that in the skin area too, because it is vital for youthful looking skin. And I really do believe that my commitment and love for exercise has helped me stay youthful, to help me to have a youthful figure. And when you have a youthful figure, you can wear youthful clothing, which helps you look young, right? And the last thing I want to share with you in this area about the body is to talk to you about your childbearing years, because I was the same way when I was in my 20s and I was thinking about having children, because you work so hard to look a certain way and to keep the weight off, and you think, oh my gosh, when I get pregnant, I'm going to gain so much weight, it's going to be so hard to take the weight off, and I won't look the same, I won't feel the same, will I still be attractive? I mean, all these questions came to me. So you're no different than I was, and we all, I think women have the same thought process. So I want to offer you some tips about your childbearing years that I think will be helpful for you based on what I know and did. First, I want to say, don't fall into a rut when you have children. A lot of times you are overworked, you're tired, and you are the last person in the line of things that you have to pay attention to once you have children. And it gets harder as the more children you have, because now you're juggling more people. So, how do you stay in shape? Well, there are some things that you can do that will help you if you decide to have children right off the bat. One of them is to try to space your children. It's not always something that you can do, but if you can, it's a great thing, because you're going to give your body a chance to recover from one pregnancy before you go into another pregnancy, because it takes a lot out of you to nourish and grow a baby. It takes a lot of you put weight on. It's a giant hormonal change to your body, and that kind of weight, that hormonal weight that's put on for you to nourish that pregnancy and to breastfeed your baby, is a little bit tougher to take off, I will be honest with you, than just normal weight gain from having too many snacks or just neglecting your weight. It's hormonally driven. It takes time to come off. You have to give your body a chance for those hormones to start dropping before the weight can all come off. But take your time. Don't panic. Don't worry about it. I can tell you, as someone who's been there, I've had 2 children. My children are in their 20s too, just like you. And I took the weight off. Did it take me a year? Yeah, it did. Did I go into my pregnancies with strong muscle tone and fit? I did. It's helpful if you can do that too. If you can be in a good place in your life, if you can be healthy and fit, it will serve you well. I delivered both my children in 2 hours. It was very fast. I have a very strong pelvic floor and pelvic area. Work on that. I have videos up on how to do Kegels and how to work on your pelvic floor and your inner abdominal muscles. Please watch those videos. It's not too early to start that. I never did a Kegel before I was pregnant. I didn't even know you should do a Kegel. I know now that you should do them before you get pregnant. I'm sharing that with you because I know how important they are. And if you want to learn how to do them, please see that video. I'll link it below, okay, so you know what to do. Another thing you can do is breastfeed. Now look, it's not for everyone, I understand that, but breastfeeding will help shrink your uterus and tone your uterus every time you do it, and it will help you burn calories. Now, yes, you will eat more when you breastfeed because you get an enormous appetite. At least I did. Enormous. Like nothing compared to pregnancy. I did not really have that big of an appetite when I was pregnant. your stomach starts, my stomach, if I'm sitting down, my stomach was out to my knees. That's how big my belly was. And it presses up on your stomach. So I didn't have a lot of stomach room to eat. So I just gained the required amount for my pregnancy. I exercised throughout my pregnancy, which I highly recommend to you. So if you're an exerciser, then you should exercise through your pregnancy. Stay active, walk. Don't overdo it. You will find exercises and things that you can do when you're pregnant that they recommend. So you'll seek that out when the time comes. And then do them. Stay active. It's good for you. It's good for the baby. It keeps you toned for the 9 months. It'll help your delivery be smoother. And if you can breastfeed, I highly recommend it because it does help tone your stomach. Bring it in. Every time you breastfeed, you release a hormone. That hormone stimulates your uterus to contract. At first, when you do it after you deliver a baby, it actually hurts. Like you can feel your uterus is contracting and it hurts. Like it was painful for me. And then as it, because it's contracting like a lot. And then as it contracts less and less, because it doesn't have to bring it in so much, it hurts less. But I went through that for quite a few days. So don't be surprised. And by the way, breastfeeding, even though they tell you is a natural thing, and yes it is. I loved it. But it's a learned art. So you have to learn how to do it, be patient with it, and have a support system for it, and hopefully you'll get the knack of it, but it definitely takes effort. While it's possible to lose the majority of your pregnancy weight in a year, your figure may still not look the way it did before you became pregnant. This is especially true if you breastfeed because you need a few extra pounds in order to be able to produce milk. But give it time, because once you stop breastfeeding, your figure will get back to the way it used to look. And then my last point about, the pregnancy years is just to get into shape right after you have the baby. Start the next day doing those little exercises that they give you at the hospital for circulating your blood and moving your feet, moving your legs, and, holding in your tummy and pressing it down, getting used to feeling your abdominal muscles again. There's so many things that you can do, just little tiny things to try to get your pelvic floor stronger again and used to, feeling again, because you kind of lose feeling in that area. And be patient. Give yourself the 8 weeks. See my videos about recti splits, and if you have one, how to close it. That's real important before you start any kind of an exercise program. And when you're up for it, start taking walks. But pay attention. Start losing the weight and exercise as soon as the baby's born. That's what I did. As soon as the baby was born, of course, without taxing myself. I mean, you're exhausted, you're not sleeping, you're in pain, and then that goes away, but then you're breastfeeding. It's a whole big recovery period. But, don't be afraid of it. These are going to be the best years of your life. Having children is wonderful if you decide to. It's worth the extra weight gain. It's worth all of the hormonal swings. I really think, in my personal opinion, that there are 3 very big changes in a woman's life. You've already gone through one, which is your teenage years when you hit puberty. That's a big change for a woman. Those hormones cause all kinds of issues. Moodiness and bloating and this and that. But we're all driven by our hormones. They are the single thing that will control your mood, your appetite, your life, your love, your everything. I could do a whole video about just hormones. It's fascinating, actually. So, that's why your teenage years are such a challenge. And then you finally get sort of comfortable and adjusted to it by the time you get in your 20s. But think about how long that takes you from the time you enter puberty to the time you're actually feeling more comfortable with what's going on, right? You're in your 20s. And then eventually along comes childbearing years, and that's another huge change. And you're dealing with the psychological effects of, looking different and feeling different, and the hormones, they wreak havoc on you and make you more emotional. But give yourself time. Time is the key to everything. You will deal with it. It will be wonderful. It's like anything else. It's going to have its ups and downs. It's going to be trying, but you'll cope. You will muddle through. You will figure it out. Only when we're challenged in life do we ever develop the skills, right? My children had separation anxiety. So, we had to learn the skills. They had to learn the skills of how to separate from their mom. I had to encourage them. I had to figure out, how can I present school? How can I make them feel happy there? And how can I make them not miss me so much? How can I get them over it? And they learned the skills. And people have separation anxiety. People have social things. And you have to learn the skills, how to deal with it. Don't reach for things to use as a crutch. Don't reach for alcohol. Don't reach for cigarettes. Don't reach for something to help you fit in that's going to harm your health or your body, because I never did. I muddled through. I found ways to cope, and I want to implore that to you. I want to tell you that those are the best ways to do something. Don't harm your health, because it will show up on your face and it will show up on your body if you do those types of things in your life. If you drink too much or smoke. These are your 20s now. It's time to let the college years go. So if you find that you're out there still partying it up and staying out till all hours of the night and clubbing and trying to fit work in, and you're exhausted, well, that's not going to help your health. It's not going to help your figure. It's not going to help your skin. It's not really going to help anything. Try to get a handle on your life. Try to get a routine. I was never a partier, but I went out. I had fun. If anybody would have just told me one thing that I will tell you, I think I would have been a healthier person when I was younger, because I got sick a lot. I got a lot of colds. And back then they were like, okay, take antibiotics. And I thought, oh, great, I'll take antibiotics. That'll take care of whatever's going on, and I'll just go out and do what I want. And guess what? That's not the way it works. You get worse. And of course they know now you don't just give antibiotics for every little thing. So we all learn as time goes on. Again, that's the wisdom. But the most important thing, and this is where I was going with this, is sleep. Getting your rest. And you won't realize this, ladies, until you have children, if you decide to, because that's when sleep becomes the most precious thing in the world, because you just can't seem to get enough of it. And if you try to maintain a good sleep schedule and get into the habit of having a good sleep schedule in your 20s, I think you'll be a lot happier and a lot healthier and a lot more successful in whatever you're doing in your life, because you have the energy to do it. And exercise will help give you energy. It will provide you with what you need to deal with that demanding career and those stressful moments, and trying to get to the gym and all that, having that exercise to release that stress. That was for me like the number one thing I could do. Some people go out and drink, but see, I don't have those habits. I didn't do that. I exercised. I went to the gym. I went walking with friends. I went to the beach. I was outdoors. That's my thing. That was for me, and I think it served me well. If that resonates with you, I think it'll work for you too. Okay, so let's get into the next part of this video. Please see part 2 of this video on how I maintained young-looking skin. Just click the box and it'll take you right there.